which I was asked about last week, and that's the dyeing of the hair. Okay? For us who have gray hair, or are starting to have gray hair, they think about dyeing, right? They want to keep that young look to them. And the question is, what are the preferred colors, or are there any colors that are, are discouraged? So what you'll read is that the yellow and orange color that you see often in the Middle East, not here, because it's just weird to us, but the orange and yellow is what's preferred, and the black is discouraged, right? However, it has been narrated to us that Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, radiallahu anhum, the four rightly guided caliphs, they all dyed their hair black. Okay? Abu Bakr and Umar, they passed away when they're 63. Uthman was in his 80s, and he passed away, and Ali, I believe, was in his 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Radiallahu anhum jami'an. And they all dyed black. So how do we reconcile between the words of the scholars and the actions of the rightly guided caliphs? Allah Ta'ala a'lam. This is really the best opinion I can come up with, or the best opinion I've heard, is that the black is discouraged once someone reaches a very old age, right? It's not right for someone who's 90 years old to have black hair and try to act as if he's still in his 40s and 50s. Allah Ta'ala a'lam. I could be wrong, this is just an opinion. As for dyeing the hair orange and yellow, I think here in America that's really, it's unapplicable. You might get fired from your job if you do something like that, if you dye it orange, right? And if you dye it yellow, then you'll be looking like, maybe Donald Trump, President Trump, and I don't think anyone wants to do that. So go ahead, dye black, unless you're, at the end of the road. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase the age of every one of us and bless it. And then we have now what's called a siwak. Everyone knows what the siwak is. It's that branch, the small, thin branch that people use to brush their teeth. You see it very often in the Middle East, more than you do here, but everyone knows what it is. And this is a preferred act. Now, before continuing, you will have heard me say preferred, discouraged, encouraged, this is obligatory, this is forbidden. So let's go ahead and discuss what each means. What are the scientific definitions for these terms? So you have the highest level, the fard or the wajib, the obligatory acts. These are acts that it's mandatory to perform. Performing them gives you reward, and leaving them causes you to sin. Okay? Under it, you have the recommended acts, the sunan, the mustahabbat. These are actions that doing them isn't mandatory, but performing them gives you reward. Leaving it does not cause you to sin. Okay? And then you have the mubah. You have the permissible acts. These are acts. Doing it and leaving it is the same. There is no reward in doing it, and there is no sin in leaving it. However, if you perform it with a good intention, so for example, eating, right? Eating is a permissible act, so long as what you're eating is halal. So when one eats, he doesn't sin, nor does he get reward, unless the intention behind it causes him, to make it a noble cause. So for example, someone says, I am going to eat to give my body its strength, for me to take care of my body, so that I can perform acts of worship. He gets reward based on his intention. If someone says, I'm going to eat to give my body strength so I can go and play, to go and gamble, to go chase girls, right? This person now is doing a forbidden act. He's getting sin for eating, because he's using that food to do haram. It's very precise. It goes back to the intention, not the action. The compensation is based on the action, based on the intention, not on the action. Does this make sense? Should I repeat it? I'll repeat it. So there are permissible acts, such as eating, sleeping. If one's intention is to use that act in order to give them strength to perform or to do good, such as worship, work, to provide for their family. Now this intention makes the action what? It gives it reward. So they're getting reward based on their intention. If someone were to eat so that they can use that food or they use their strength to do haram, to do acts that are forbidden, the intention is now he'll be judged by his intention. And he'll get sin for intending such an intention. Does this make sense? I want to feel that it makes sense. Okay. That's permissible acts. Under that, you have the discouraged acts, the makruhat. Discouraged acts, in performing them, there is no sin, but in leaving it, there's reward. Okay, so take for example, we said it's discouraged to shave one part of the head while leaving the other part with hair. We mentioned that at qaza' in the previous lecture. So it's makruh to perform such an action. Therefore, someone who does it, there is no sin in doing it, but if he leaves it, he gets reward for doing that. And under that is the muharramat, the forbidden actions. Forbidden actions, in leaving it is reward, and in performing it is sin. Does this make sense? Is everything clear? Any questions? Because you're going to always hear me using these terminologies. Please.
Regarding the dye of hair, there's a concept that is mostly chemical based, and you make a coat on your hair, you might not fulfill the requirement of wudu on that. Hopefully. Is that right?
The dyeing, it's an interesting question. So the question is, let's assume whether there really is this or not, just theoretically speaking here. Let's say there's a type of dye in which it creates a coat on your hair, meaning water now isn't reaching your hair. So is performing wudu accepted in such a situation? Allah Ta'ala alam, yeah, it's accepted, because when you wipe your head, what's asked is to wipe the head, not the hair. Okay? So even if you're bald and you do this, right, you've fulfilled the action of wiping. It's different than washing. Right? So that's why the scholar said, even if you were to take, for example, a piece of wood that's wet, and you go like this on your head, or a comb or something, you fulfilled it, because the verse says wiping. And to wipe in the Arabic language is no, wiping, like this. And there's nothing in which you need to wash. Does that make sense?
The same thing apply for the beard as well?
The beard, yes, because the washing of the beard is if it's thick, it's recommended. It's not obligatory. Okay? Please.
I used to hear like for dyeing the hair, you have to use henna, you cannot use chemical, you have to use it today in the stores like salons and stuff like that. How true is that?
Well, the ahadith in dyeing of the hair is general. Didn't differentiate. Nor do I know of anything that makes it permit or recommended to use henna. Back then they didn't have these chemical dyes. So unless there is evidence that using such a chemical is forbidden, then we can't say it's forbidden or it's discouraged. Any other questions? A siwak. I said that the siwak is that small branch in which people use to brush their teeth. Using the siwak is something preferred, is recommended in the Sharia, because in it is cleanliness. And the Sharia is very, very, it emphasizes greatly cleanliness. Greatly. Because it's part of human nature to be clean. And they enjoy being clean. Being clean gives them strength. And it provides a good image for that person. Right? So imagine a group of people who are very dirty. Any human being would look at them in a sort of negative way. It's like, who are these people? Why aren't they clean? So using the siwak is part of cleanliness. It cleans your teeth. It makes your breath smell better. Freshens your mouth. So using it is something very recommended in the Sharia. And the evidence of its recommendation is that the Prophet ﷺ said, لولا أن أشق على أمتي لأمرتهم بالسواك عند كل صلاة عند كل صلاة وفي رواية عند كل وضوء. The Prophet ﷺ said, if it wasn't for becoming overburdening on my nation, on the Muslims, I would have commanded them to use the siwak before every prayer or before or after every wudu. Okay? So we take from this that it's recommended, it's preferred and not obligatory, and it's strongly recommended. Now the question is, what about toothbrush? Okay, if we say that the point or the reason using a siwak is recommended, is very strongly preferred, is because it cleans the mouth. A toothbrush cleans the mouth, maybe even better than a siwak. If we take it by this meaning, then yes, the toothbrush is like a siwak. You give reward if one intends, to clean their mouth and intends to perform the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. If we look at the lettering or the wording of the hadith, and we say the siwak is what the Prophet ﷺ said, therefore it's only the siwak, then we say no, the toothbrush is different. It's not, it doesn't take the same rule, and we don't do analogy between the two. And inshallah, the opinion I lean to is that the toothbrush is like the siwak. Anyone who uses the toothbrush, if they intend to perform the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, then in that is great reward. And there are certain times in which using the siwak there's more reward. And it's two. Number one, before prayer or before wudu, as the hadith mentioned. And number two, when you wake up. Because when you wake up, your mouth has been closed for a long period of time. And we all know when you wake up, the breath smells pretty bad. So one wants to wash their mouth, brush their teeth in order to remove that. Another issue regarding the siwak is using the siwak when a person is fasting after dhuhr. Okay? So after dhuhr, what happens? Because your stomach is empty, there are certain scents that start coming out of your mouth. It's a little bit discomforting. But the Prophet ﷺ said, لَخَلُوفْ فَمِيَ أَحَدِكُمْ أَطْيَبُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ مِنْ رَائِحَةِ الْمِسْكِ. Right? The khaluf, that smell, which is caused by the lack of food in your stomach, is purer and more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the scent of musk. So some scholars took from that using the siwak after dhuhr prayer, between dhuhr and maghrib, is something discouraged, because it takes away from that scent that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. Other scholars said no, that doesn't affect that scent, because the scent comes from where? From the stomach. It's not coming from the mouth itself. So when you clean it, you're simply cleaning the results of that scent being in the stomach. You're not removing the scent itself. So it's still there. Therefore, it doesn't apply. So using the siwak before dhuhr and after dhuhr is the same. Specifically when one is what? Fasting. Okay? Another issue when it comes to fasting is that sometimes the siwak, it breaks apart in your mouth. Okay? So one wants to choose a siwak that's a little bit more fresh, it doesn't break apart. Or if one's brushing their teeth, right? So now you have the toothpaste that gets in your mouth. If you can almost guarantee yourself that you can get rid of all of that, then no doubt that's fine, go for it. However, if you feel that there is some that is left behind, there is some that's going into your stomach, then you're better off leaving it. And that's in regard of the siwak. If there's any questions about the siwak, brushing one's teeth, before we enter the preferred acts of wudu. Anything? Cream? The toothpaste? Yeah, that's fine. What are you talking about? In fasting time. Alright, so that was saying, sometimes the effect of toothpaste in the mouth is very strong, right? So if you feel that, no, you're not able to get all of that toothpaste out of your mouth after brushing your teeth, then you should probably leave it. If you feel like, yeah, I could, because sometimes toothpaste is very thick, sometimes it's very thin, depending on the type of toothpaste you use. So it's up to you to see what's, better, what you're better off doing. So that's fine. The smell is fine. If anything is going to enter the throat. If you feel if you're not comfortable doing it, then don't do it. It's not like it's obligatory, right? Anything else? Sorry. Same thing as toothpaste.
So I've heard there's actually taste and breaking fast. Is that?
I'm sorry?
The taste.
Right.
You know, your tongue obviously, it activates the sensation of, you know, tasting the food, say, or even for instance, the toothpaste. And that could potentially, you know, break your fast.
Right, so now the question is, what breaks your fast? So the brother asked, you know, toothpaste, it has that scent to it, it has the chemicals that cause your taste buds to activate. So now does the taste break your fast? Taste doesn't break fast. What breaks fast is something entering the throat, right? So if it enters the back of your mouth, enters the throat, the beginning of your throat, that's what breaks your fast. So if you were to put water in your mouth and spit it all out, that doesn't break your fast. And Abu Hanifa said that if someone were to taste food, right? So a lot of women do this during Ramadan. They taste the food and spit it out real quickly. They say that's discouraged, but it doesn't break your fast, so long as you don't over-exaggerate, right? So if you quickly taste and then spit it out, that doesn't break your fast. So the scholars did talk about that. Oh yeah. Anything else? Swimming? Right, okay, so now swimming. Someone's fasting and they swim. Does that break their fast? Because now we know that skin absorbs, or might absorb water. Water might enter the ears, or the eyes, or the nose when one's swimming. Right? So long as you don't intentionally swallow, then you should be fine. The water entering the body through the skin does not break fast. Anything that enters the skin does not break fast. What breaks fast is anything that enters the throat, specifically. Right? And then the scholar said, okay, there are 4 ways in which something can enter the throat. The mouth, the nose, the eyes, and the ears. So the scholars agreed upon the mouth and the nose. They said anything that enters the mouth and the nose and enters the throat through those 2 passages, then that breaks your fast. And they differed upon the eyes and the ears. 2 opinions. The opinion which I lean towards, that it doesn't, because the amount that enters your throat is so small, it's insignificant. Therefore, if you have eye drops, you use. If you have any ear drops that you use during fasting, then go ahead and use it. It won't break your fast, on this opinion.
What about if you get an IV?
IV, again, IV doesn't break fast, because it goes through the skin. Now, this is very controversial, right? Now everyone's getting mad. Okay, you put IV, your body has all the nutritions. The purpose of fasting isn't to prevent you from nutrition, it's for you not to eat. And in eating, there's something that we tend to forget, is that eating is something very desirable. There's desire when you eat, right? So when you don't eat, even if you have the IV and your body is getting the nutritions, you're not eating, you're not fulfilling that desire. Does that make sense? And IVs are expensive. No one's going to sit there and put IVs day and night, right? Unless you're a doctor who has access to that. Go ahead.
My question is about the chewing gum. I mean, why does it prohibit it if you don't swallow?
Because there's sugar. And sugar is entering your mouth. Then if you can prove that nothing's entering through the saliva into your mouth, right? If you can do that, you can prove it. But it's very hard to prove. Does that make sense? So when you're chewing, stuff is getting on your saliva and you're swallowing that saliva. So if there is a way to prove that nothing's entering, then fine. But that's, I think, very hard. Because even if there's no sugar, I'm sure some of the residue of the gum is going to get on that saliva. دكتور تفضل. Of course, Dr. Muzamil Siddiqui, he's the fiqh master. So please. My teacher taught me that when a person of less knowledge is speaking in the presence of someone with more knowledge, the barakah is taken away, the blessings are taken away. So Dr. please, come. Any other questions? Okay. I guess we'll start the sunan of the wudu in our next course. I wanted to briefly, and I hope I'm not taking the topic of Dr. Muzammel's khutbah today. But as you all know, what happened in London 2 days ago. And obviously this is something we're bored of, we're sick of. And yes, there is no reason for us to condemn these acts because we're not the ones who perform them. But unfortunately, sometimes life is unfair, and we have to do things even though it's unfair. So yes, us as a community, me as the face of, or the religious face of this masjid, we condemn these acts. And we say that these acts do not represent Islam, nor do they represent Muslims. And these individuals are misguided. And so on and so forth. You know, we've been doing this for 15 years now. But unfortunately, we have to say every single time. But what I would like to say to you, first and foremost, keep your head high. Don't let these actions affect you. Don't let the bigots put you down. You are a Muslim. Your Islam is pure. And you as Muslims have nothing to do with these people, whether they like you or not. And know that for every one bigot, every one person who says go back to your country, there are 5 Americans who say you belong here. The majority of the population is with you. And they like you, and they want you to be here. And they don't accept the bigotry of the current administration, nor of their followings. Okay, so keep your heads high, and don't let these actions put you down. Number 2, we need to take advantage of these situations and use it to spread Islam. Because whenever something like this happens, Islam becomes in the news, people start thinking about Islam, start talking about Islam. And during these times, it's best for us to be present, to make our appearance, to be part of society. Okay, we tried the political game, you know, we didn't benefit as much as we wanted to, and now we really need to get into society more. To establish our presence here in America, more and more. Okay? We've been doing this for 15, 16 years now, and alhamdulillah, Islam today in America is much stronger than 9/11. Much stronger. So alhamdulillah, we've been making a lot of progress, but there's still a lot of work to do. But you need to present yourself to society. They need to know that you're here, and that you're not as these individuals, as these groups do. Okay? Through your manners. Always be aware of your manners. Know that if you have an Islamic appearance, especially women who wear hijab, you have it the most right now. The burden is on your shoulders more than it is on men. I have a beard, sure, but a lot of other Americans have beards too. Now it's the style. So they might not recognize that I'm a Muslim simply by my beard. But when you wear the hijab, they know you're a Muslim, 100%. So a lot of the weight is on your shoulders, women. And that's okay. You take the flag of Islam, you hold it, you could do that. And there are many great women of Islam who've done many great things. So be like them, and don't be afraid. Continue wearing your hijab, continue doing what you do, but focus, men and women I'm speaking to, focus on your manners. Smile, be a good person. If someone attacks you, deal with them. If someone, throws some words at you, deal with them with wisdom, not in aggression. Okay? But the main thing that we need to focus on now is becoming more and more social, dealing with society and attending social events. And tomorrow there's an event being sponsored by the Interfaith Council of Greater Rancho Santa Margarita, in which this masjid is a part of. They're holding a program tomorrow called Emergency Preparedness. It helps families and individuals prepare for an emergency, such as a fire in the house, such as an earthquake, how to respond, how to deal with these actions, how to help other individuals in such situations. They asked for some volunteers. I haven't been able to get any volunteers. So today I'm asking this crowd, and I'll ask again after the khutbah, if there are any volunteers, 4 or 5 or 6, please come forward, talk to me, give me your name, your email address, and your phone number. It's tomorrow. You need to be there in the bell tower in Rancho Santa Margarita, not too far away from here. Be there at 9:30 a.m. There is no setting up that you need to do. There's no cleaning that you need to do. You simply stand at the gate, pass out the map of the program, and if anyone has any questions where certain activities are, you just guide them to that. I don't know exactly how long it is, an hour, 2 hours, and I believe we switch off. I don't have the exact details. I will get that to you if you request it. But we need some of the youth, hopefully, the younger crowd, which I don't really see many right now, but if any of the older, the 40-year-olds and up, if they would like to attend, then please let us know. Come to me and make your presence. That's really the intention here, is for our presence to be seen, and for the American society to see us doing good, working with Christians and Jews and all these other faith communities, so that they know Muslims are not as the media portrays them, nor as the administration makes them out to be. Again, anyone who would like to volunteer, there's no setting up that you need to do, no cleaning up. It's not hard. Be there at 9:30, an hour, 2 hours, whatever you can provide us. That would be great. Come to me after prayer. Just give me your name, your phone number, and your email address so that we can get in contact with you. وجزاكم الله خير وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.